What up, QC crew? King Day is in the mother building.
Run it up, what's up? JBRISKO, not know when what's up. Run that shit, we had all the show. Say that shit for your camera.
Warning. Everything said in this video and on this platform is strictly my opinion and all alleged. Here, we speak about hot topics on YouTube and other social media platforms for entertainment and conversational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised.
What it do? It's your homie King Day here in King's Corner, and I am back with another reaction video for you. Now, look. I already know y'all checked out part 1 of this series, From Trust to Trauma. This lady falling in love with her therapist. We gonna hop right back on into it. We gonna jump straight to part 8, which is where we left off. And while we watching, y'all, please do not mind me. If my eyes are here, there, up, down, left, right, I am about to do my nails while we watch the rest of this series. Of course, I'm really courteous, so I will have my mic off while I'm doing some noisy things. When I got something to say, I'll cut that mic right back on. Quick recap. Lady goes to therapy. Her life's in shambles. Her friend says, hey, friend, check out therapy. Your job paying for it. You ain't got to come out of pocket. Check it out. See what it do. See what it don't. She says, all right, let's do it. Let's go. So you got options. You can text, you can do voice memos, or you can actually do something similar to a FaceTime with your therapist. Initially, this young lady chose to do the voice memos because that's what she was comfortable with, or like a voice call. She didn't want her face on there. She really didn't care to text. That was the decision she made to do the voice messages. She's speaking to her therapist. They starting to get comfortable. She's believing in the therapy. She's getting better. She's feeling better. She's living better. And one day she tells her therapist, my ex keep commenting on all my stuff, and she really be pissing me off when she do it. The therapist say, you interested in women? I need to see your face. That particular day, this young lady was all, ready, done up. She had something to do for the day, so they got on video cam. Once they started doing the video sessions, they continued doing video sessions. All of a sudden, the therapist say, look, I can't be your therapist anymore. We must end this situation, because apparently, allegedly, that therapist had fell in love and confessed her love to this young lady. I believe her name is a Dream. They finish their therapy sessions, and the therapist gives her an ultimatum. She says, you can finish healing and find you another therapist, or you can hit me up. You got my number because I text you personally. The therapist didn't even give a girl time to choose the text message before she hit a Dream up with some little dots like, hey, you better hit me up. They start talking. They start dating for about a month. To keep the long story short, within a month span, the therapist kicked her fiance out the house and moved a Dream and her daughter into. Now, she left us on a little cliffhanger. A Dream was at her best friend's wedding. Her therapist, now lover, was supposed to show up and she never did. A Dream walks into the house and sees the house is in shambles. She goes to sleep because she was a little bit lit, and she said we won't believe what was revealed to her the next morning. So we gonna jump straight into the reveal. All right, so I ain't gonna hold you no longer. I never do. If you fuck with me like I fuck with you, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. We're gonna get straight into this video. Let's get it. Let go.
So I keep seeing this question and I wanted to address it. Okay, so my best friend in the story, Jasmine, the one that, remember, she was in therapy just like I was. Okay, so remember that night when she had came to Birmingham so we can hang out for her birthday, my therapist had ended up confessing her feelings for me. It completely pissed Jasmine off because he completely shifted the attention and the engagement from her birthday. So she was ticked off, and from there she was completely off of it. Even before that occurred, she had already been saying, like, I don't know, like, I'm not getting good feelings about her. Something is off about this lady. Like, she's not supposed to be sending messages like that. Like, I don't know, I kind of feel like she like you, right? So when the situation happened, I told Kay that, my best friend felt disrespected by you messaging me at night telling me how you felt randomly like that. Like, it just completely ruined the mood. So Kay at the time was just like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can understand how she feels. I'll tell you what, I'll make it up to y'all. Let me pay for y'all next outing. And so at that point, my best friend Jasmine was like, fucking want her damn money. I don't want that. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need that or whatever. I just don't want to have nothing to do with it, and I don't think you should either, you know. And she was completely like serious. So it got to the point where Kay felt like Jasmine wanted me, like she liked me and was in love with me, and that's why she was upset about Kay confessing her love for me, because she was like, she shouldn't be that mad if that's your best friend, yada yada yada, like all this stuff, right? That's what she felt. And so at that point, it made it super uncomfortable because I couldn't even talk to my friend without Kay intervening. And then when I talked to Jasmine, I couldn't talk about Kay because she would have her feelings against her. So there was just like in a wrestling match, basically. And so I took some time away from Jasmine because it was just a lot. We were still friends, but we just didn't talk that often. So she missed out on a lot of the things that I had going on with Kay until the end. And she had to catch up. So that's what happened with Jasmine.
Very interesting. Maybe a dream. Again, I think her name is A Dream or Dream. Maybe she felt like kind of torn between the two. Now, I can understand a situation that night. You know, you're kind of messing up the vibe with the text messages. My vibe is off. I'm telling my best friend not comfortable with it, you know, but then continuing on. I don't know. I'm not her and I'm not in her shoes. I just kind of feel like she chose a therapist over her best friend kind of in this situation. Ooh, what y'all think about it? I'm trying to find the right words. They not really coming to me right now. Kind of feeling like A Dream wanted to pursue the therapist. You know, she had a little bit in her that wanted to pursue the therapist, because I would think, okay, this is just my opinion. I would think if I have a professional relationship with somebody and I don't think of them in that romantic way at all whatsoever, and then they come at me like, hey, let's try this, but it's not really something I'm into, and then my friend is against it. Not saying that my friend determines my love life, but I'm just saying if I'm not into you like that, and I don't have to really like physically see you, I don't have to go to work and walk past your desk every day. This is something I can cut off on the therapy app, and I can block and delete your number on my phone, and I can report all of this stuff that's going on and put it to a stop. If my friend is like putting me up on game, like this should not be happening, and I don't want to pursue you, then I'm gonna take the necessary steps to put that situation to an end. So that's why I say a part of me feels like she kind of wanted to pursue that therapist too, but she was just trying to figure some things out. I don't know, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. You know, I like to talk, not tussle. Let's get it. This is the text messages from part 2. So if you have not seen part 1 through 7, please go check that out, or you're going to be completely lost in the sauce. She never read those messages. I believe she's finna read them right now. Let's get it.
Did I miss the verbatim text? Oh, come on. I'm finna give it to y'all. So the very first text came from my therapist. Said, and I quote, "A dream," because that's my name, and she sent a screenshot of what she sent me on the platform, because I didn't get a chance to see it. In the message, it said, "Good evening, A Dream. I think it's in your best benefit to match with another therapist. Your growth is my #1 priority. Our platform has thousands of other therapists that would be a perfect fit for you. I just don't feel I'm a good fit going forward." That's what she said. And this was a tricky one, right? Because did she really mean that, or was she just saying that? I don't know. I'll keep reading. And so I was out at dinner, and I responded. I said, "Oh no, is everything okay? I hate to hear this." And this is what she said. "To be transparent, I've thought about you every day since the first time I heard your voice, which is rare for me. That never happens with clients. I had no clue you were a lesbian or had an ex that was a female. I hate labels. I honestly turned the camera on that day to see you, and my heart hit the floor. I thought you were absolutely drop dead gorgeous. The timing is just odd, and I don't want to prevent you from growing. I just know it's inappropriate for me to work with you going forward. I hope this makes sense. It's in your best interest and mine. I just broke up with my fiance on February the 8th, so I don't want to project anything onto you. I just felt it best to let you know, and you deserve to know why. I'm really sorry for texting you a personal phone, but I had to be honest with you. And this was on February the 11th, 3 days after she apparently caught her ex cheating. And this is what I said. It took me a minute to process this. I'm not gonna lie, I am disappointed that things have come to this point. I kind of wish I knew that you felt this way early on. Did I say that right? Early on, rather than us connecting with one another for over a month now. I do like you, and I realize I gained an attachment to you over time during our sessions because I feel like you're one hell of a therapist. So this one is a bit hard on me. You mentioned a split from your fiance. I hope our sessions weren't the cause of that. But okay, I do appreciate you letting me know, and I understand. Thanks for your honesty. Then this is what she said after that. No, it had nothing to do with you. I appreciate you taking the time to process it. I won't let you down. Let's finish your last 3 sessions. Only if you're not uncomfortable with this information. I am professional enough to do my job and keep it strictly business. So we can finish building your empire. If you're good with finishing the work we started, we can move forward. It's 100% your choice and about your comfort. And my feelings were from seeing your studio. She was talking about my wig shop. And that's when I responded. And I was just like, well, what about the studio? And so she was like, and I quote, it was the visual representation of your mind. It was everything you said in the sessions about how you see things and you manifest them. It was the thoughts, the execution of your thoughts that came out in your studio. It was the passion, the beauty, the elegance. It was how you placed everything. You can tell a lot about a person by their work. How you do anything is how you do everything. She said that a lot throughout the relationship. It shed more light on you as a person, more than words ever could. I'm a sapiosexual, so it's rare to experience an encounter like that. You're rare, and that's magical. You're like a rose that blooms through the concrete in New York. When my best friend had heard that part, when I read it out, she was completely done. She hated that part. So this bitch is write fucking poems. Okay, definitely a dime a dozen. It's more people saying who they are versus being who they are. You're being who you say you are. That's what she said. And so she said that she would basically see me on Sunday for our session. And that was that. She said, I'm forever grateful for this talk. If you're good ending it here, I am as well. You made me smile today. Thank you. She said, bye, a dream, and thank you. That was it. And that's when, after our last session, she sent some dots. She said, I had to release you. And if you came back, you were meant to be mine anyway, right?
Really quick, I'm not going to keep interrupting her, but one thing I got to say is it's something about a good old smooth talker that just rubs me a particular type of way. Now, you can have game. You can have swag. I ain't talking about none of that, right? But somebody who just on a random text message, not nobody you're in a relationship with, you know, after you get to know a person and all that, and you kind of know kind of who they are. I'm talking about in the very beginning. I'm talking about before you even bake. It is something about a poetry, smooth talking, slick tongue ass person. It just draws a red flag. Because at what point did you become this smooth? You too smooth. Somebody who is too smooth is a red flag for me. What's y'all red flags? Drop them down in the comment section. You talk too damn smooth. And I ain't talking about nobody who got a sexy voice and got a little bit of game and they got a little line here and there that they throw at you, a little cute this, a little cute that. No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the smooth, like that, what she just read to us. I would have been like, oh, no, you full of shit. Like, it's cute. And I'm going to try to believe everything you said to me is really your feelings, but nah, too smooth. It's almost like you've said this before. It's almost like you said this before. So I don't know. That would have been a little red flag for me. Like how she said her best friend was over it. Girl, I was over it. Let's go.
Welcome back to my video diary. From trust to trauma with dating my therapist, part 8. All right, so that morning came. Kay is still not giving me any information. She's just being real nonchalant and dry. So I'm like, you know what? I got to go back to Birmingham. I got to pick up my daughter because I only came here to check on you or whatever. So I ended up getting in the car, hitting the road. So on my way back to the house, my best friend at the time had hit me up. And I'm talking about Jay, not Jasmine, but Jay, the one that got married. So she called me and she was like, hey, you know, is everything okay with Kay? You know, I never did get a call back. And I'm like, oh my God, girl, I'm so sorry. Yes, everything is good with her. Apparently she's alive. I still don't know, you know, what's going on. It seemed like she just had a really bad day and she overslept. So she was like, girl, okay, well, that's fine or whatever. You know, she didn't make a big deal out of it. So we just started talking or whatever. Once again, making excuses for her, and I hated it. So I ended up getting a call from Kay on the other line while I'm on the road with, you know, on the phone with my best friend, Jay. So I picked up the phone. I'm like, hello. And she was like, hello. And I'm like, hey, what's up? You know? And she's like, when I tell y'all her tone is like so mellow, it's almost like neutral. So she tells me, y'all, this is probably the hardest part of this story. One of the hardest parts. I think it's best for you and Zai to move back to Birmingham. Oh, yeah. She said it. And I was like, say what? Like, when I tell y'all, I had to literally chase behind the word because I couldn't get it out. I literally felt like my soul had left my body for a minute, y'all, because I couldn't even find the air in my body. Was just, it was gone. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, why? What happened? Like, I don't understand. And she just like, you know, and just like this, it's good. I just think that it's best for y'all to get your stuff and put it in storage and, you know, go back to your mom. I'm sure everything will work out. Everything will be fine. I just think it's best. I just don't think that this is a good idea. What? I said, girl, it's been excuse me, I'm sorry. It's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks. What the hell are you talking about? At this point, my body is cold. I lie to y'all not. My body is cold. So I'm crying hysterically. Still calm. No emotion. We get off the phone. I click over to my best friend. She's still hanging on. She's still on the phone. And I am boo-hooing. And she's just like, what's going on? What's happening? And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm about to run off this fucking road. At this point, y'all, like, I am shaking. I am crying. I am screaming. I'm on the phone with my best friend, Jay, and I'm just like, girl, you just not gonna believe this. This girl is literally kicking us out after 3 weeks. I hadn't done anything. We had no arguments, out of the blue. And so my best friend is like, she's trying to like, Tonya, calm down, calm down, calm down. Like, listen to me. At this point, I'm not listening. I'm not listening. Y'all, I tried to run the car off the road. Ooh. I'm good. I'm good. The whole time my best friend just like on the phone. Like, she had to walk out the room where her, you know, her wife was and was just like, I just need you to listen to me. If you need to come to Huntsville right now, you can. Bring Zai. Come on. Like, we can figure out the details later. Like right now, I need you to be here. I need you to be here. Like, how could the person that is helping you heal is now hurting you? I couldn't get that. So I had calmed down. I did not run a car off the road. So after I had calmed down and didn't go off the road, I just felt this calmness that came over me. And it was so reassuring that everything was going to be okay. And it got me through my 1 hour ride. Because, y'all, that was a drive from hell. I'd never forget it. Okay, so after I had got to Birmingham, you know, I had talked to my best friend at the time some more about the situation, and I felt a lot better because in that moment I couldn't see a way out, but then I started to look at it like worst case scenario, I was going to be right in the spot where I initially was planning on being anyway. So it's like, it's good. Yes, it may cost me a couple of dollars, you know what I'm saying, to get everything back moved here. And it was such a waste of time. But you know what? It's good. So although the move was in the plans, the plan was not executed like it should have been. I know. We did move right away. We did. Whew. So we went back to the house. I talked to Kay. And then she told me that she overreacted. So yeah, we was still
overreacted.
Girl, my best friend at the time was just like, baby, you need to get up out of there. I mean, get out of there.
Now.
Baby, I thought about all that shit I had to move. Baby, I only been here for 3 weeks, baby. She better slide over. Because, what the fuck? Like, she ended up bribing us with a vacation to the beach. And this time we had decided that we were going to split the cost or whatever. So I had, you know, spent my part on it. And, you know, she spent her part. And we had a pretty good, decent time until we got into it. We had a disagreement or whatever. And you already know what happens with disagreements. They lead to those formal meetings. And I'm just thinking, can it get any worse than this? Can it though? Let's talk about it in part 9. Welcome back.
So she wake up and she just like, oh, let's not be together no more. Or wait, that's not what she said. You need to get out. In so many words. Very calm though. Like, you know, I don't think you should be here no more. Just pack your stuff up and leave, you know. It'll be a really good idea if you got your shit and got your child shit and got the fuck up out of my shit, you know. I think you should work on that. Drove your ass crazy. You almost going off the road. You done almost hit a whoop whoop to swoop scoop whoop swoop whoop. Luckily you were on the phone with your best friend. She calmed you down. You went and got your child, went back home, and she said, I overreacted. How? I'm sorry, y'all. Can y'all let me know in the comments how many red flags does it take for a motherfucker to leave? I'm just trying to see. I'm so glad that lady did not run herself off that road because her baby needs her. And apparently she is out of this situation. So I am glad, you know, we don't know what happened to make her finally leave, but I'm glad she is gone. And so we're able to talk about her situation. This is a past situation, so we're able to talk about it a little bit. But I want y'all to let me know in the comments, how many red flags did it take you to leave him or her? How many? I would like to know. Let's get on into part 9.
Hey y'all, welcome to part 9 of my video series, From Trust to Trauma, with Dating My Therapist. Let's go. Okay, so I forgot a big chunk of details that happened after she initially asked us to leave the first time. So let me catch you up real quick. So remember,
don't be forgetting nothing.
That she initially asked us to leave or whatever while I was on the way back to Birmingham to pick up my daughter, right? So when she said that, I did not return back to the house for at least a week. Okay, I stayed at my mom's house trying to figure out, you know, like my next moves and everything, and just trying to figure out what I was gonna do, right? So in the process, she had ended up contacting me, you know, like on some, hey, what you doing? And I'm like, why are you calling me? And she was just asking me, like, just basically trying to have a regular conversation. And I'm like, did you ask us to leave your house? Like, why you hit me up? Like, what we got to talk about? I was just trying to check on you. You know, I realized that, you know.
Okay, yeah, that is very, very, very important, because I'm thinking she picked her daughter up and went right back like in the same day. So she was actually gone for a week. But let's get back to it.
I had some personal things going on, and I took it out on you or whatever, and I shouldn't have done that. And I'm just like, what personal stuff? She still wouldn't tell me what personal stuff she was talking about. So at this point, I got off the phone with her, because since me and you are not even like this, like we're not here, like at all. So then later on that day, I had got a notification that I had been added to her Ring camera. I done been living here all this time for 3 weeks. Not too much on me. And I hadn't gotten access to no Ring camera. But today I did. So later on that day, I had got a FaceTime call from her. She was sitting on the porch or whatever, like literally sitting on the porch with her back up against the door. And she was just like, man, Dream, like I don't feel good. Like I'm not doing good. You know, and I'm just like, what's wrong? Like, what you mean you're not feeling good, right? I'm so sorry, like I hurt you and this and the third, putting you and your daughter out. And I realized that I also wasn't, you know, who I needed to be for Ashley in a relationship. And just, I'm talking about like confessing, like, right? So I'm like, where is she getting at with this? Before I knew it, the phone dropped. And I'm like, hello? Hello? It's still connected, but I don't hear anything. So my mind remembers earlier that day, she sent the Ring notification that I was added as a user, right? So I'm like, fuck, let me look at this Ring camera and see what's going on, because she's still connected, but she ain't saying nothing. I end up clicking on the Ring camera, y'all. Why is she laid out on the porch, flatline, stretched out, baby? Stretched out. And I'm like, oh my God. She's been laying there for a minute, and I'm calling her name, and I can see her breathing. I see her body moving, so I know she's alive. So I'm like, this girl playing with me. So I end up calling the paramedics, gave them the address, and they like, oh, we already got a call for the same address from a neighbor. And I was like, oh shit, like maybe this is for real. So at this point, y'all, I'm starting to panic. My heart started racing, because she has now been out there for at least 30 minutes just laying on the ground, and I'm calling her name. And at this point, now she's not really moving that much. What's going on? They need to hurry up. So the paramedics finally arrived. I'm like, whew, okay. Like, girl, trucks everywhere, red lights. And so my mom is not right next to me. And she's like, what's that? What's going on? I was like, I said, this is Kay. She on the porch. Like, she fell out. And she was just like, baby, Mama T wasn't buying it. So my mom, she calls me by my first name, not my second name that everybody else called me by. And she's like, LaTonya, come on now. Come on now. Kay playing with y'all. Don't let her play with your head. Y'all, at this point, I'm like, can you please be serious? Because what is she for real? So the paramedics just out there, y'all, like they trying to, you know, get her vitals and get her to respond, and she wasn't really giving them anything. So they were just like, oh, ma'am, I'm going to need you to speak to us. You're going to have to tell us what's going on, you know. So what's your name? How old are you? You know, all this stuff, right? So I end up turning on the Ring camera so I can speak to them. Hey, you know, that's my partner. Gave them the information for her and everything. And so they, you know, put the little stuff to her, and they were just like, well, her vitals are good. She's more healthier than me. Girl, bitch. So at this point, I'm like, okay, she's spiraling. Maybe this was false. But she's spiraling. And I start feeling bad for her. You know what I'm saying? And once I start feeling bad for her, whatever, you know, I end up talking to her thereafter or whatnot. So maybe about an hour later, I end up getting a notification of Ring going off the camera, right? While I see her walking outside to a white truck. Who this is? Now, mind you, I still live there. So my stuff is in there. Who is this popping up at the house? I just know this ain't Ashley. I just know it's not. So you already know, baby. I got on the phone. I called her immediately. She couldn't even open the door to the girl car. Who is that? Are we for real? Who the fuck is that? I just know it ain't who I think it is. She's just like, no, I had called her too or whatever because I wasn't feeling good or whatnot, and she was just coming to check on me. It's nothing like that. I'm just like, bro, you know what? I'm finna come blow your ass up in that damn house. So you ain't call your mama. You ain't call your cousin. Okay. At this point, I'm furious.
You called your
I
ex-fiance.
get mad. I hang up the phone.
Hold on. We're going to get right back to it. But the thing about it is, see, she played too many games. Okay? I've been at your place for 3 weeks. Never had access to the ring. Never asked for it, right? But I never had access to the ring. None of that. All of a sudden, I'm gone for a couple days to a week. And you want to grant me access to the ring. Not only that, you want to fall out. Not only that, you want to talk to me through the ring. You want to be all out on this ground for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Got the neighbors calling, they worried. Got me calling, I'm worried. And then you're going to have your ex-fiance pull up to check on you. And like she said, you ain't call your mama, you ain't call no cousin, you ain't call no brother, you know, whatever. You called your ex-fiance. My stuff still at your house, my child stuff still at your house. And your ex-fiance pulls up to check on you. That's crazy.
And I'm on a ring camera. Y'all still out there for at least an hour. What y'all talking about? Girl, I almost lost my damn mind. So at this point, I'm about to get in the car and I'm gonna come up there. Because now you got me fucked up. You being disrespectful. You already done asked me to fucking leave. Then you gonna turn around and fake a heart attack, whatever the fuck it was. And then you gonna turn around and have this girl pull up at the house. Ma'am, I'm gonna kill you. So long story short, I end up calling again, and she's like, hello, and I'm like, I said, you can put me on speaker, honey. You on there? What's up? What we doing? I said, do I need to talk to her too? I said, because what y'all not finna do is sit here and play with me in my face. Like, we not finna do that shit at all, period. So I just need to know. The girl ain't saying nothing, right? I'm doing all the talking, and Kay's doing all the talking. So she was like, no, I had just told her, you know, how in love with you I am. She was like, I already told her that I want to be with you, and I done made a big mistake, and I realized it, and that's what led to me falling out. And so let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. You fell out. You called me. You called her. She came to check on you, and she's sitting in the car listening to you talk about how much you so in love with me, how you so sorry, and how you trying to get me back, and how you trying to reverse what the hell you. And she's just sitting here listening to this shit. Oh, this whole fucked up too mentally. At this point, we all fucked up. At this point, I started to realize that I was in a movie, okay? Because ain't no way this is real. Fast forward. I ended up coming back to the house because all my stuff is at the house. I got to come back. I ended up coming back to the house or whatever. So that's how we got to the beach trip. Because that was her way of saying, oh, we need a fresh start. We need to fix things. I'm sorry I left that beach chunk out. I feel like y'all needed to know so y'all can understand the level of fuckery. Okay? So let's keep going. Now that we're all caught up. So we went to the beach. We split the cost down the middle. We had a disagreement. And then now she had asked me to have a meeting with her, right? I went down to the office. When I get in there, she's like, I wanted to discuss, you know, like finances or whatever. And I'm like, okay. Mind you, in this meeting, she is not looking at me. I am looking directly at her just like this, right? This is how she's sitting. Dream, I feel like since y'all been here, I've been spending more money than I have ever spent. How? Like, you know what I'm saying? She was like, well, you know, when we go out and do this and do that, I was like, well, Kay, that's because that's what you want to do. And I was like, this beach trip, that was your idea. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, if that's putting you in a bind, that's not on me. I paid my part. You know what I'm saying? And that's when things completely went left. I'll tell you about it in part 10. Hey y'all, welcome back to my video diary from trust to trauma, dating my therapist, part 10. Let's hop right into it. All right, so remember we had a meeting. In the meeting, she told me that she wanted to discuss finances. She needed rent money from me by next week. Next week? What are you talking about, right? Like, I'm not really understanding, because the last meeting that we had, you said 3 months. Now you're talking about a week. And we just left vacation. How is that so? Like, we literally spent $600 each when we went on vacation to Florida. So how all of a sudden you want me to no, ma'am. No. Let me off this damn ride. So I got mad. I didn't want to hear nothing else. I was over it, like, completely. I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and just move. So she was just like, okay, cool. I messaged my group chat. I told them what was going on. And so I had support. Everybody was like, all right, cool. When you trying to move, you need help, movers. Tell y'all, everybody was on 10 toes trying to get me out that later house. So I was trying to figure out what day I wanted to move. So I had to reach out to some movers. So I thought about it and I was like, let me see if I can get the same movers I had last time. Because understand, when you're booking through U-Haul, their movers are not supposed to drive the truck. And honey, I can't drive no truck. Like, me and the truck will be in a ditch somewhere. So I end up getting in contact with the same movers, and they said, okay, let me see what date I can get. So I'm just waiting for a date, right? Kate continues to hit me up, continues to come to my office, continues to ask me all throughout the week, like, hey, what day you moving again? You got a date yet? Like, I'm talking about, like, really bugging at this point. I said, why? Why does it matter? Girl, me and my daughter, we was packing.
Y'all know what this sound like? This sound like she has a new client and they're doing new therapy sessions and she has now fell in love again. That's what it sounds like. Because remember, she told her ex-fiance, you got 6 months. You cheated on me, whatever, you got 6 months, get yourself together. Fell in love with a dream, and that 6 months turned into 2 weeks. Now she comes to Dream saying, I'm going to need some rent money in a week. And Dream is like, huh? Or you can leave. Dream is like, peace. And every single day after, she's like, you moving out today? What's the update? When you leaving? See? So I'm fool people like that.
Acting like maniacs, okay? We was throwing shit in bags and boxes. Like, I was packing up food, seasonings, pots, pans, whatever we came with, we was leaving with. So boom, it was move day. Y'all, like, we had everything packed up and put in the front. We did not want to have to go back into a room, upstairs, downstairs. We didn't want no mess. So I had to play the game real cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, the first time when she asked us to leave. So keep this in mind. She asked us to leave the first time, and she ended up wanting us to come back. Now, I was scared that she was going to not let me get my stuff, like my furniture and everything. So I played it cool until I was able to get my money up and get everything together. So when the last straw had came, she had pushed that date up for me. So we got everything loaded onto the truck. We were headed to Birmingham so I can put my things in storage and then head to my mom. So a whole month went by. I did not talk to Kay. I did not text her. I did not call her. None of those things. But she eventually reached out to me. She reached out to me basically stating that she realized where everything went wrong. She realized that she was still broken from her previous relationship and how she never really gave herself the opportunity to feel what she felt at that time. So I unfortunately got dragged into it. She said she had begun therapy. She's been doing a lot of self-care, and she realized that she was a problem in the relationship. She had not mentioned anything about her being wrong to even attempt to date her client. She was talking about her put me out. Then when she sent that, I just, I acknowledged it. I just read it and went on by my way. Right? So one day I come, me and my mom, we was out and about, you know what I'm saying? And we ended up coming to the house. Flowers are on the porch. And that good old Riscato sweet red. I looked at my mom, she looked at me, and she was like, that damn K. So a month after we had moved, it was like August at this time, my daughter, her birthday was coming up, so I had just took her to get her hair done. So I get a call from a number that I don't know, and to my surprise, it is Kay. So I answer the phone and I'm like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And she was like, hey, you know, I was just calling, how's everything going? And I'm like, everything is good. Everything is good. So she's like, oh, okay, well, that's good. She was like, I know Zai's birthday is coming up. I had promised her before y'all had moved out or whatever that I was going to give her a birthday gift. So you ain't got to tell her it's from me. It's already on the way. You can say it's from you. It's completely okay. I just wanted to go ahead and send it since I had already bought it. And I'm just like, well, I mean, you didn't have to do that, you know? Like, it's good. I'm like, girl, you didn't even have to do all that. Like, you're still trying to find a way to insert yourself. You continue to do it. So the gift came. It was some gift cards, a bunch of them, to all the favorite spots that my daughter likes. So I definitely didn't tell her that it was from Kay. I said it was from me. Happy birthday. Enjoy. And that was that. Like, I moved on completely from it because at this time, I'm not even going to let you win, okay? You're trying too hard. So we went back to no contact because no, ma'am, I need to heal. I need to focus on me. I need to do what I got to do because now I got to figure out my life again. So one day she hit me up via email, y'all. So she's like, hey, I was just reaching out because I wanted to express some things to you. I've been thinking long and hard. I've been writing to you every single day in my journal. And I just wanted to share some things with you. And I'm still reading the email. So as I go down the email, she's like, you know, I realized that when we were living together or whatever, we had moved too fast. Clearly. So she said her ex had planted some bad seeds in her mind about me, saying things like I'm a demon, I'm a witch, and I use magic to pull Kay away from her. Pause. I'm flattered. But that's not what happened. That's absolutely not what it was. So she also told me that her ex, Ashley, said that I was after her finances and that I was trying to ruin her. So that explains why the sudden change of behavior happened. But ma'am, you was swiping your debit card like it was credit with no limit. And I never asked you for anything. So she basically was just like, she really hate and she embarrassed that she listened to her ex and her ex got on her head. And first of all, baby, when you was talking to your ex, when was this? So she ends up reaching out to me again, like, hey, I'm going to be coming to Birmingham or whatever for something. And I was wondering if you wanted to go get a light lunch, no strings attached. I just feel like I owe you an apology face to face for everything that occurred. Why I said yeah.
When I tell you I heard she was going to be in Birmingham and I looked up, I said she finna go on this motherfucking date with her. Why did you say yeah? Let us know in part 11 why the hell you said yeah.
Here we go again. Welcome to part 11, From Trust to Trauma. Dating my therapist. Let's go. Let's talk about me saying yes to the date, shall we? So yes, I said yes to go to lunch with Kay. Now this wasn't no ordinary lunch. We always did things that was super cute, so we decided to do a picnic. We went to Publix, we got sandwiches, our favorite chips, some water, and we set up outside. This was supposed to be a friendly date, no strings attached, right? So we out there sitting down or whatever, and soon as we started to open up our sandwiches, a dark cloud came over our heads, and I heard some thunder. I said, I know you fucking lying. We out there trying to grab the blanket and put all the food and snacks back in the bag, but baby, that rain completely shut it down. So we decided to change destinations, and we agreed to go to Barnes & Noble. So before we went to Barnes & Noble, we swung by Starbucks and got my favorite Frappuccino. The whole point of this meetup was for us to catch up and to acknowledge everything that had happened up until we got kicked out. So, you know, she's asking me, you know, hey, how you been? You know, I tell her that, you know, I've been really great. I'm still working for Tisha. Although I'm not in the same city as her, I'm still able to work remotely. She tells me that she's been doing really good. She's been journaling, and she starts to share with me some of the letters that she had wrote to me while being away. So I was telling her all about Tisha and how, you know, she had got admitted into the hospital. So she wasn't able to post and keep things going. So I was taking over with helping out with her posting while she was away. So she was telling me that, you know, she was very proud of me and everything that I was doing, and that I needed to consider possibly opening up a second stream of income just in case things started to go downhill with Tisha's health. I needed to make sure that, you know, I always had something else coming in. So from there, we started brainstorming about the different things that I could do in the meantime to help myself. I had already told her that I had been doing DoorDash and Spark and Grubhub, but we both knew I wasn't gonna be doing that for too long because as we're in Barnes & Noble, I'm not even realizing the real reason that we're there, and it's for her to apologize in person. And we done went from that to her being my accountability partner. Like, what are we doing? So the weather seems to slack up. There's no more rain. So we decided to leave Barnes & Noble and go back downtown, where we just started walking on the south side of the city. So as we walking down the south side, we end up coming up by this real cute restaurant. And as we were peeking in, the owner had came outside. Looks like he was smoking a cigarette. And he was just like, hey, y'all coming in here? You know, and I'm like, oh, no. So, yeah, mind you, this is what I had on. I just had on like a t-shirt, you know, a little 2 pom-poms in my head, looking like a big kid. And I was not ready. I purposely dressed like that because I wanted to make sure that it was friendly. So he's like, oh, man, y'all should really come inside. I'm like, oh, you know, and she's like, oh, we can change. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, we can come back and check it out. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. We'll come back, you know? And he's like, oh, you sure you're going to come back? And we're like, yeah, we're going to come back. So she had a whole set in the car, like a whole outfit. And I was like, you was prepared, huh? So we went back to my mom's house or whatever, and I showered and got dressed. So my mom, you know, she comes in there where I'm at, and she's just like, Kate, like, what? It's just a friendly thing. She just wanted to come and apologize, and, you know, yada, yada. She's just like, okay, be careful with that, you know, because I don't really trust Kay like that. You know? So we end up heading to the spot, and when you first walk in, y'all, like, there's candles on the table, chandelier, a minimalistic like vibe, modern. I have a picture here so you guys can see. It was so freaking cute. Like, it wasn't giving friendly vibes, but I mean, it was cute. So the owner ends up seeing us, and it's like, what's up? Y'all came back, you know? And so we're like, yeah, you know, we told you we was gonna come back. You know, we really wanted to check it out. So Kay sits across from me at the little table or whatever, and they come over and they light the candle or whatever. And so we end up looking over the menus to see what we want. So she decides to try a dish. I tried one, and then I get her to do my content since I couldn't really get it today. So first the drinks came out, right? So I had like this little cute lemon drop Cosmo like drink or whatever, and I asked her, I was like, hey, do you mind like taking this video of me, because I want to see myself in a different point of view. And so she ended up, you know, recording me with my drink. I was feeling cute, as you can see down here. Yeah, honey. And then the food came afterwards. So the appetizers came out. She let me try her appetizer, which was really good. It was like this sweet potato soup type thing, and y'all, it was amazing. I can't even lie. Oh, and so then you know, my food ended up coming out, and so, you know, I had her record content of me, you know what I'm saying, rating the food or whatever, and just talking about like how good it was. So at this point, we having a really good time. We laughing, we giggling and everything, creating content. And I started to thank her. I was like, I know that this wasn't in the plans outside of, the light lunch picnic that we had. So I really appreciate you treating me. You really didn't have to, And she was like, nah, Dream is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got you. I feel like you deserve it. After everything I put you through, I really feel like I deserve to bring you out, get you in a different atmosphere. I know you've been thinking about being on grind mode since you came to the city. I just want you to relax a little bit and enjoy yourself. So at this point, we're done with the food, we're done with the drinks, and so, the check comes. So she gives, the waitress the card or whatever, and we're still chopping it up, talking, Why they came back to whisper at the table that her card declined? Say what? Girl, yes. I'm sitting there at the table like, I just know. I just know it's a mistake, right? You got another
She's
card.
trying to get
She's
that
in there
payback.
going through her wallet, looking for different cards or whatever. And I'm just like,
You kidding, right?
she's like, I freaking left like, my main card or whatever at the house, rushing, and so all she had was like another card and like a Cash App card or whatever. So she tried another card, it didn't work. So she's, at this point, I can tell she's embarrassed. She's feeling away. And my card was actually at home. I had money to pay for it. And she was saying that, she would have paid me back, but I didn't have my card with me. That was the thing. I had left all of that. Remember, it was supposed to be just a picnic, so I didn't think that we were going to do everything that we did. So I didn't bring anything like that. So yeah. I wasn't mad at the fact that, the card declined, because like, things happen. You could have it locked, or maybe you need to do a transfer. Things happen. We've all been there, right? The reason why I was really mad is because for so long I have been telling you, why don't you know what you have before you walk up into anywhere trying to purchase anything? Why are we still swiping without knowing what's there? After the third card being tried, the waitress comes back to the table like, yeah, swiper ain't swiping. Okay, let's figure this out. So she ended up getting in contact with...
Instead of just constantly giving out cards, I'm just wondering, why didn't she open up her mobile banking or go to the website, log in? Like, who just keeps sending cards? Like, that there's no money on those cards. You're, I guess, crossing your fingers that it's just going to go through. Like, I wouldn't even give nobody a chance to swipe my shit 3 times with 3 different cards, because I'm going to know what I got or what I don't got. Now, if you need to take my car and I sit at this table and you take my car and go get your wallet and I pay you back when I get to Montgomery or whatever the case may be, that's what needs to be figured out. But you just constantly sending cards, it just don't make no sense. But hey.
With one of her friends who actually sent her the funds via cash.
The date should have stopped at that dark cloud. That's where it should have been like, you know what? We ain't going to be able to go to the park. Let's try another day. Take your ass back down to Montgomery, and I'm going to take my ass back over here. Soon as that cloud got a little dark, a little gray, that should have been it. That should have been it right there.
Cash App, and then we were able to pay for the ticket. So leaving out of there was, very awkward in a sense. Because of the fact that she was embarrassed, right? So she was kind of quiet, on the way to the house for the most part. She was dropping me back off at home to my mom's, and we went on and, said our goodbyes or whatever so she can go back to where she was or whatever, and I go back to where I was. So at this point, I'm just wondering, should I keep this going or should I just leave this where it's at? Find out in part 12. Y'all, this is part 12 from Trust to Trauma, Dating My Therapist. Let's go. So I came back to the house. My daughter was there and she was asking me, how everything went. And I told her that, Kay and I just caught up. And so I was asking her, I was like, so how do you feel about Kay? She was just like, I think Kay is a very nice person as far as how she help us. But I equally feel as though she's very sometimeded. she was like, she's hard to figure out. One day she's okay, the next day she's not. So I don't really know about, you know, being around her like that. And I was just like, that's fair, I understand. So I was like, do you think that people can change? My daughter was like, no, I don't think so. I think she's just who she is. And so I was like, damn, okay. And I was like, so you don't think that people actually can get better? She was just like, I don't. And it was so scary for her to say that, because I was like, well, there are situations where, you know, I do things or I have done something, but I become better at it, you know, and I've changed. And she was like, yeah, but this is different. And I just left it at that, child. So my daughter also mentioned the fact that when we first was going to move to Montgomery, we were moving in with Kay and her cousin, Shay. So remember, Shay did nails at the house. So before we even moved in, Shay had moved out. Now, originally, Shay had moved in because there were problems going on with her and her mom. And she ended up moving with Kay, and Kay agreed to have Shay there to do nails set up in the house. So after a while, Shay had become very popular with her nail business, and so there were so many people coming to the house, like back to back, guys, girls, a whole bunch of teenagers. And so Kay was just like, you know, I don't really know about this. And so she addressed it a couple of times, and it apparently had gotten better. However, Kay was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna close the nail shop. So that occurred. The nail shop was closed, and so Shay just stayed there. After like a little while, like, she told Shay that she needed to call her mom and that she needed to go, like, just like that. Now, Shay was paying to have her nail shop there or whatever, but Kay was just like, there was a big old thing with the mom, you know, because for one, the mom was upset that Kay took her in without even consulting with her. And so when she put her out, then it's like, oh, so now you want me to be involved. It didn't end too well. And so my daughter, she felt the way about it because she thought she was going to have like someone in the house that she could talk to. And Zai had felt the way about it ever since. So the whole conversation just had me thinking, like, real hard, because my daughter definitely had a point. I didn't even think about it like that. Like, dang, she sure did kick her cousin out, and she was only in high school. So I can only imagine how bad that would have made her feel. But was that enough for me to cut it off? I guess we'll see. So one morning, I had got a phone call from Tisha, the loctician I was working with. And when I saw her name pop up, I got super excited because I'm like, okay, she must be doing really good. You know, we can get back to work and all that, right? So when I answered the phone, it was a FaceTime call, and she was calling me from the hospital room. And I was like, hey, girl. She's like, hey. And I'm like, you okay? And she's like, well, not exactly. I have a couple of, you know, procedures, surgeries or whatever that I have to get. And so I'm not really sure how long I'm going to be in the hospital. And so I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And so she's telling me all these different things. And so she's like, I wanted to tell you that I'm not really sure how long I'm going to be in the hospital. And so we may have to actually pause the contract. Y'all, like, I'm like, oh my God, no. So it's crazy because we were at the very end of the month, and normally I would get my payment on the 1st of the month. And so we're a week away from the 1st. And I'm like, my income is completely just shut off just like that. And I started to think about the conversation that I had with Kay. So I just sat there for a moment because I needed to gather myself. I literally had bills like lined up, you know what I mean? Car note, car insurance, storage, all those different things. And the income that I thought was coming was not coming. I panicked. And so, you know, I immediately set up my account with DoorDash, Grubhub, Spark, like, those 3 was in full rotations. I'm grabbing my keys. I'm throwing on a hat, some, you know, jogger pants. I had my little wagon, y'all, I was out the door. So, you know, my daughter was like, where you going? I'm just like, I'm finna go drive. And she's just like, let me come with you. So we end up driving or whatever. We end up coming to the suburban area. And we started to do some DoorDash. So we were making money. As we're making money, we're eating. And I'm starting to realize that, dang, like, I feel like I'm spending more money in gas than I'm actually getting. So we end up going to this neighborhood. It was so nice, y'all. When I tell y'all, they had like the most amazing looking houses, like big, beautiful yards, the landscape. So my daughter looks at me and she was just like, man, like, you got to get one of these. Like, you know, we deserve one of these houses. Like, these are so big and pretty. Like, I would love to have a house like this. And so I instantly felt a little sad inside because we were living in a really big house just a month ago. At the same time, I'm like, you know what? You're right. We deserve our own house. Now, I'm also equally thinking about my finances. I'm like, girl, you ain't got that credit. You don't have that down payment. You don't have that history. You don't have no pay stubs. We should not be thinking about no house. So I was just like, you know what, we are going to get that house. I was being positive about it, you know, and we just moved on from that. So after we got done driving, I went back to the house and I saw that I had a text message from Kay. And I was like, damn, she must have felt me, because I sure was gonna send her a message and tell her about today, because it was just wild. I told her about the situation with Tisha, and she was just like, I told you. She was like, I told you, like, it's time for you to open yourself up to where you can have more opportunities, because you can't depend on that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And I was telling her how I was driving and how, you know, we were looking at houses and how I just got so depressed at the same time. And, you know, she was encouraging me, although we're not even going to talk about it. So my sister had 2 cars. She had a car that she was driving and her boyfriend was driving the other. However, she ended up having to take it from him, honey, because he wasn't paying the car note. It was a mess, okay? So we're not going to get into it. But I had remembered that Kay told me that she had did Turo sometime before in the past when she had multiple cars. And I was thinking, like, well, could I do the same thing with this one? Like, you know, it'll equally help my sister pay her car note, but I could also make a profit off of it. So I thought about that. So Kay was telling me how to do it, set up my profile. We took pictures of the car. This is the car that I set up on Turo. I was super excited, y'all. I had went and got the oil change. I had cleaned it up, vacuumed it. I got it ready. Long story short, it did not get booked. So we on the plan C. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm sitting here like, oh my God, like, what do I do? So Kay and I, we on the phone. She helping me brainstorm. So she was just like, Dream, what is it that you want to do? Tell me everything that you have an interest in doing. So I'm like, okay. I was like, well, I'm a really good interior designer. I can design a hell out of a space. I've always wanted to do real estate. She was like, stop right there. You can do something with that. And I'm like, where's she about to go with this? Like, what she got up her sleeve? Because I ain't coming back to Montgomery. That shit dead. So she was just like, I'm about to be on the way. I think I got it. And I was just like, about to be on the way for what? Like, she was the type of person, she was very impulsive. Like, she'll jump at anything. Girl, she comes down to Birmingham. She picks me up. And I'm like, where we going? Just like, just ride. And I was just like, where are we going? What are we doing? And she says, we're about to go and look at properties. And I'm like, properties? What properties? At this point, I'm intrigued. But I don't have time for no foolishness. But of course, I wanted to see next part. Hey y'all, this is...
Before she get into this next part, I'm just really curious as to, and y'all let me know, because I haven't been through it. I haven't dealt with it, okay? And I don't think I will deal with it. Only time could tell. But why, after you've been dealing with somebody, right? Let's just take her case, 100%, since we're watching it, right? You met her, she crossed, first of all, she overstepped her boundary when she got access to your personal information and contacted you. This is your therapist, right? She got your personal information and she contacted you. That's red flag number 1. You crossing boundaries, bruh. You doing too much. Then, okay, she got an arrangement with her fiance, ex-fiance, whatever, that she has to be moved out in 6 months. Then she confesses her love to you and she tells her ex-fiance, you got to go immediately. You got 2 weeks to find a job and get out. Then out of nowhere, she tells you she think it's best for you to get out of her house. But then she takes that back and say, you know what, I was tripping. So you stay. Then she comes and tell you, oh, I want some money from you to help pay for some of these bills, and basically kicks you out again. She's not only doing these things to you, she's doing these things to your child too. At what point? And we're going to obviously see at what point for her, because allegedly this whole thing is a done data. But why does it take so many times for people to hurt you and cross you? You know, like I say 3. The first time it's like, okay, I corrected you up front. You ain't know no better. I'm going to say you ain't know what you was doing, what you was saying and all of that. The second time it's like, all right, let me kind of check myself. Are you sure this person is worth boo-bop to woo-wop? And then that third time, I'm going to check myself and I'm going to check you and I'm going to dip. Why is it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times? Especially when kids are involved. I just don't get it. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I like to talk, not tussle. I'm just curious to know. Let's get it to 13 now. Let's go.
Hey y'all, welcome back to From Trust to Trauma, Dating My Therapist, part 13. She was just like, well, I have a list on Zillow and I am sending you them now. So while I'm driving, you're going to be looking at them. So we end up looking at quite a few different properties. Some I like, some I didn't. And I was just like, well, I mean, to be honest, like, I don't even have the credit for this. I don't even have the income for this. And she was just like, Dream, I know that. That's why I'm going to put it in my business name. And I'm like, okay, I'm not understanding. She was just like, I'm going to get the property. You're going to turn it into an Airbnb. You're going to take your furniture out of the storage and you're going to furnish the house with the Airbnb. I mean, for the Airbnb. And you're going to turn a profit. And I was just like, this bitch might be a little smart. So she was really good with solutions. She would, for a moment, she might be stuck and then she'll be like, all right, bet, this is what we're going to do. She was always like that. Even though I viewed it as impulsive and it was scary, she had no care in the world. Like, she was a go-getter. Like, when I tell you, like, no fear whatsoever. So we end up getting to this one place. It was like a tower, like, apartment or whatever. So many different floors. And when we went inside, y'all, it was beautiful. Whew. Like, when you first go inside, it puts you in mind of a really nice hotel, like, lobbies type situation. They had, like, the whole coffee, like, bar situation. They had the outside where you can sit around and grill, and the waterfall patio situation. They had a pool table in another room. It was phenomenal, y'all. I'm like, this is it right here. We ended up viewing the actual apartment and it was beautiful. Like, it had like the whole view of the city. It was surrounded by like restaurants, bars. It was like the perfect hot spot. And I was just like, yo, this shit gonna go. So we ended up meeting with the apartment manager and we're like, hey, like, do y'all do corporate leasing? And they're like, yeah, we actually do. Some of our residents are actually in corporate leasing. They have like short-term leasing up in here. And I'm like, oh, come on with it. So Case is down, you know what I'm saying? And she ends up like applying for the apartment. She, you know, makes it seem as though she lives here or whatever. And I was going to be listed as the person that was going to be managing it. So that part was working out pretty good, right? So while she's doing that, I started to leave out the room and I started to, the office or whatever, I started to look around a little bit. So as I do, I had passed by this office and so a girl was like, hey, excuse me. And I looked back and she was just like, hey girl. And I was like, hey girl. This was somebody I used to go to school with. So when I seen her, I was super excited. I was like, girl, hey. She's like, what you doing here? You live? I was like, oh no, we're actually looking at getting an apartment here. She's like, really? So that'll be good. Like, it's real cool around here. You know, I'm the security here. I was like, really? She was like, yeah, girl, me and my mom works here. We both do security. And I was like, that's what's up. And I was like, yeah, I was thinking about getting an apartment here because I was wanting to do Airbnb. And she was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, girl, like, that's what's up. She was just like, it's some people that already do it here. And I was like, yeah, I heard. And she was like, well, if you ever need help, girl, let me know because me and my mom got a cleaning business. And I was like, girl, shut up. Because put your number on my phone. Because at this point,
I love that.
It's given it's meant to be.
I love that.
Wait, so I can get an Airbnb in a hotspot, manage it, don't have to clean it. Baby, sign me up. So Kay finishes with what she's doing. I tell her about me meeting up with my old classmate and what she said. So Kay is like, okay, hell yeah, like that's lit. Like that's perfect. So we end up finishing up with that. She had put in the appointment, not the appointment, but the application. And that was that. So we had waited and waited and waited like weeks. And we had been calling up, following up. And then them folks would never follow up. We ended up talking to the manager of the manager, like still.
Application denied, like them 3 cards at that restaurant.
No follow up. And we just like, at this point, it seemed like it just fell through. And so I'm like feeling like, you know, kind of giving up on it. Like, okay, whatever. It just, maybe it's not meant to be, you know. So we didn't completely give up. We kept riding around looking at different buildings and apartments and stuff like that until we came across one that was like a tower as well. It was super duper nice. It had like a rooftop situation, and it had like city view that was wrapped around the building. Like when I tell y'all, it was fire. But it was super expensive, and so that meant that the profit margin wasn't going to be that great to do Airbnb with. However, it was still in that same hot spot that the other one was in. But I just knew it wasn't going to be a good fit for Airbnb. Plus, they didn't allow it, So we decided to end our search for the night, and we were just gonna, you know, just wait it out and wait for them to contact us back, the previous apartment that we had applied for. So a couple days later, Kay had called me and told me that she had booked a tour at the apartment. And I was just like, well, what apartment? She was like, well, remember the one that I was looking at, the last one? And I was like, with the one that with the rooftop that was expensive? She was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. She was like, I'm actually on the way to Birmingham now because I have a tour in like, you know, in an hour. And I was just like, well, why you didn't tell me? I could have, you know, got prepared, got dressed or whatever. And she was like, I mean, you still can go if you want to or whatever, but, you know, I don't know, that want to type thing made me feel like she just wanted to go without me or whatever. Maybe she just wanted to go ahead and handle business as such. And honestly, I ain't want to hold her up. So because it was so short notice, I knew I wasn't going to make it. So I was just like, well, you go ahead, look at it, take some pictures, or just let me know how I was or whatever, and we'll go from there. So she ended up calling me back like an hour later, maybe not even an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And she was just like, hey, I applied for the apartment or whatever. And I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, so you gonna do the Airbnb or whatever? She was just like, I'm thinking about it. I just wanted to see, you know what I'm saying, if I can get approved because the other place was just taking forever. So I was just like, oh, okay, cool. So we ended up hanging out a little bit after the tour, and then she ended up going back to Montgomery. So she called me or whatever like a couple days later and was like, hey, she was like, I got approved for that apartment. And I was just like, what? That's crazy. Like, I wonder why these other folks taking forever. So I was just like, okay. I was like, so what we gonna do? You know what I mean? And so she was just like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take the offer to get it or whatever. And I was like, okay, so where do we go from here? And she was just like, well, I'm gonna live in it. Bitch, this just got too motherfucking juicy. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one.
Now, I had said in my head, okay, after this one, we gonna go ahead and shut it down and shut it off. But I don't even think I can leave myself hanging like this, let alone y'all. So we gonna get one more in, because did he just say he gonna live in it? Are we not talking about building the Airbnb, making that money, live in it? You gonna live in it? K sound like her name start with an L and end with an N.
Hey y'all, welcome to part 14 of From Trust to Trauma.
Get to
Dating
it.
my therapist.
Get to it.
Let go.
Let go.
Did you just say she moving to Birmingham? Hold on, maybe I wasn't hearing this right.
From house to apartment?
You moving? I said so. Wait. Hold on. You're moving to Birmingham? Like moving out of your house into an apartment here in Birmingham, like 10 minutes away from my mom? What the is you smoking? I'm like, you gotta walk me through this, because what happened? We went from looking at properties for an Airbnb opportunity for me, and you done fell in love with this apartment, and now you want to move here? I'm so confused. Like, please help me. So she's like, yeah, you know, I always loved Birmingham. I went to college there, and, you know, I've always wanted to live in like a loft type situation where I had city views. The apartment that I'm going to be in has a city view that's actually stretched from the front to the side. And so I'm like, congrats, bitch. What? I don't understand. I thought that I don't even know what I thought. I don't understand. Why are you moving here? I said, because of me? No, because of you. Like, I always wanted to move to Birmingham. This had nothing to do with you or whatever. And I was just like, okay. I was like, so what about? I was like, okay, cool. All right. What's gonna happen with your house? Like, what's the move? Like, what are your plans? Like, are you selling your house? Like, what? She was like, no, never that. She was like, I'm gonna rent my house out on Airbnb. I said, how are you going to, I'm gonna manage it. Like, I'm gonna go back and forth or whatever to it. So we done went from me having an Airbnb down here to now you getting Airbnb up there.
Oh, this twisted.
This is just a lot. Like, when I tell you this is
You set up on the phone with me and asked me what I wanted to do, what type of business I wanted to run. And I'm just expressing ideas to you and what I like and what I don't like. And I say I'm good with decorating and real estate. And I want to see what that do or what that's about, just expressing to you. And you act like you were interested in doing something to help me. And the whole time you wanted to help your motherfucking self. And so now, one of the apartments that we were going to use for Airbnb to help me, right, build a business, you going to move into it. And then you going to take the house that you already have and rent it out on Airbnb. And I'm not a part of none of the equation. This would have been the last part for me. Part 14 would have been the last part. We got 16 more parts of this mess, y'all. But let's finish what she got to say in this one. And I need a real break. I need like a smoke break, and I don't even smoke.
To the next degree. It is just too much. So she's like, we can still look at properties or whatever for you or whatnot. I just fell in love with this apartment, and that's what I wanted. And I feel like I deserve it. I work hard. I make good money. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Oh, and that's what she did. She absolutely moved into that apartment. She rented her house out on Airbnb. That's exactly what she did. Now, before she even created her listing for her Airbnb or whatever, she asked me if she could pay me to design a room in her home for Airbnb. She said pay, so I said yeah. So all I kept thinking about was the fact that I had no income coming in, like I was just a month ago. And I'm like, yeah, sis, you're going to have to say yes to this one because we need some money. So after I agreed to design a room, I had to go to the house. I did not want to go to the house because it brought back so many memories and so much trauma. But I went back to the house. Went to the house with her, and I had this app where you can actually scan the room, the outline of the room, and I used that to create the full 3D design of the room, which I may show. I'm not really sure. But if I don't, I'll just tell you guys, I designed the room using an app, and we went and got everything that was created in the app with the furniture and everything from Amazon and created an exact replicate of that. That exact design is what blew her up on Airbnb. She was like one of the most top booked places in her area because of that room. She did pay me. So that helped out with my finances a ton. Now, still at this time, we are not in a relationship. We are, I don't know what the hell we were, but everything was almost like a business transaction. So we was almost like business partners, if you was to look at it like that, right? So, we had everything set up for the Airbnb. She had it rolling. What we would do from time to time when it needed to be cleaned, we will drive to Montgomery, we'll clean it. She would pay me for that. And then it'll get booked, you know, sometimes months at a time or weeks at a time. And so we didn't have to go there that often. Everything seems to be going okay. Everything seems to be going well. I noticed that with time, we didn't argue much. We didn't have any issues. It was a lot better because she was where she was, I was where I was. And so that was something that she brought to my attention. She was just like, you know, I feel like ever since, you know, we had separated, I feel like we are a lot better in terms of our relationship and our connection. Like, you know, maybe it wasn't meant for us to live together. Maybe it was meant for us to be in separate places because we've been getting along. Everything has been great. You know, like, I've been doing better with my finances. You know, I've been able to take your advice and making sure that I be careful about my spending. Those were her words, because she was bad with spending, y'all. She had money, but she just could not organize herself at all. So she brought to my attention that, you know, we have been doing really, really good. It's like we haven't argued, we haven't disagreed or anything. You know, everything been pretty smooth for the most part. And I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, she's right. We actually have. And she was like, I think that the main issue is that we just moved too fast. You know, we wasn't supposed to move into the house together that quickly. We didn't give ourselves an opportunity to get to know one another. And I feel like this is a fresh start. You know, it's like almost a new relationship, a new connection where we're taking the time to get to know one another. So Zai started coming around. Zai had came and see her apartment or whatever and was just like, okay, this is really nice. We ended up going out to our favorite little buffet or whatever, and it was pretty cool. So we all were just hanging out all together. And it was actually going pretty good, I have to be honest. So there were quite a few things that were going on in the city for Kay. Her birthday was coming up. Her homecoming was coming up. And we needed to get prepared for those, right? So I helped her build up an itinerary for her birthday. We hung out. It was pretty cool. Had a really good time. Homecoming came. We took pictures. It was really, really nice. I looked really, really pretty, y'all, as you will see right down here. Okay, I had my little heels on, honey. Super cute. And that night, we decided that we were going to begin dating again. For the first time, y'all, I started to feel more positive about Kay. The red flags were no longer there. They were all green, at least for what I could see. My mom started to allow her to come around a bit more.
So do y'all just erase the past? Y'all just be like, fuck it. Like she said, well, no more red flags. Everything was green. Y'all just say, fuck the past. Is that what happens? Is that kind of how it works? You get all bubbly and googly-eyed and then everything a motherfucker did to you in the past is just gone? Is it just me? Am I tripping? Let me know in the comments. I don't want to tussle about it, but let me know, like, correct me. Be like, hey, you doing too much? Like, yes, it happens. It is what it is. But I want to know the reason behind why it happens or how you guys allow this to continue to happen. Like, this person wouldn't have no access to me. Like, why isn't this person blocked? Are you really just that desperate for attention? Like, I'm not calling her desperate. I'm just asking. I hear about it too often where a person has done someone else so foul. And I understand you have good times that you do not forget about. But a lot of the things that I hear, it's like the good don't outweigh the bad. The bad overflows. You probably got 4 good lines of good and 8 books, 800 pages each of bad. And how do they just keep getting chance after chance after chance? I'm really trying to understand this, y'all. Let me know.
Everybody was starting to, I'm gonna say, forgive her in a sense. You know, I was telling, you know, one of my friends or whatever
Does she want
about
to
it,
be
and she's
forgiven?
like, you know, that's good that y'all are getting a fresh start and starting over and everything. Just be careful, you know. Although the Airbnb situation for me didn't work out initially, I just started to just look at it as it just wasn't meant to be. So I started to get back on my search for
And that was
getting a
just
new
snaky
career,
to me.
doing something different, because I had got so tired, y'all, of doing the delivery thing. Like, I have plantar fasciitis in my feet, and so being on my feet too long hurts them really, really bad. Okay, knew that. So, you know, a lot of times she would massage my feet, she'll soak them and use all these different creams and oils and everything. Very, very attentive. You know, we sat and we talked, and she was just like, you know, I think we should start, you know, working on your resume, and maybe look to you getting a job, you know, at least for the time being, until your business can get back where it needs to be. We started working on my resume, cleaning it up, doing some mock interviews. So I started putting out applications, going to interviews or whatever. Still wasn't landing anything. It was just rough, y'all. I started to get discouraged. So one day I got an email from this company that told me that they wanted me to interview and to set a date. So at first I thought it was a scam because I had never heard of the company before. I tried to look them up and I couldn't find much. I did find a website, but I equally didn't see any reviews on their Google profile. So I was just like, I don't know about this. So I told Kay about the job opportunity and how I thought it was a scam because I couldn't find any information on the company. So find out what happens in the next part.
Y'all, I'm about to go woosah, okay? I'm going to go woosah. Y'all go woosah. And don't jump to TikTok and try and get to episode or part 15 without me. Wait on me. I'm not going to take too long. Just wait on me, okay? Wait on me. I'll be right back. I just need a break. If you like videos like this and you want to see more is to come. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, because right now, King Day is out. Peace. The motherfucking building.
Run it up was up. Yeah, BRISKO, not know when was up. Run that shit, we had all the show. Say that shit for your camera roll.